It's been like almost a year since I made a video. Do I even know how to do this anymore? Okay, so I found the Which Sad slash Hot Girl Booker You, what's that called, filter on Instagram, using your stories, and you tap it and it runs through, you know, all of like the popular Instagram, TikTok books that are either, you know, sad girl books, hot girl books, whatever. I have only read a few of them, and there were a couple that had been on my TBR for a little while, so I decided, why don't I use that filter 3 times, and that will decide my TBR for March, outside of my own mood reading, and it'll be my introduction back to BookTube, you know? Sounds like a good time. So, I'll insert that clip here of me going through and choosing these books, and then we'll dive right in. All right, now to choose book number 2. Okay. All right, last one. I can't believe that worked, that I got 3 different books each time. That's wonderful. All right, well, here we go. Okay, so the 3 books were The Idiot by Elif Batuman, which is, I think she categorizes it as like semi-autobiographical, but basically it's the story of her, well, not even her, she names the character Selin, which is not her name, obviously, but it's 1995, she's a freshman at Harvard, she's a Turkish immigrant, or her parents are, she's first generation American, but, you know, dealing with the struggles of, what I imagine anyway, just based off the synopsis of feeling the need to, you know, please your parents, help them fulfill the immigrant dream of, you know, giving your kid a better life, and she... so she signs up for classes in subjects she's never heard of, befriends her charismatic and worldly Serbian classmate Svetlana, and almost by accident begins corresponding with Ivan, an older mathematics student from Hungary. Selin may have barely spoken to Ivan, but with email they exchange the act of writing seems to take on a new and increasingly mysterious meaning. The end of the school year, Ivan goes to Budapest for the summer while Selin heads to Hungary, or the Hungarian countryside, to teach English in a program run by one of Ivan's friends, and on the way spends 2 weeks visiting Paris with Svetlana. Selin's summer in Europe doesn't resonate with anything she previously heard about the typical experiences of American college students, or indeed of any other kinds of people. For Selin, this is a journey further inside herself, coming to grips with the ineffable and exhilarating confusion of first love and the growing consciousness that she is doomed to become a writer. So I feel like this just has the makings of a story that I love, main characters trying to find themselves, goofy cast of supporting characters, it sounds like, while trying to overcome some, you know, semi-serious life changes. Okay, so the next one that Instagram chose for me is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. This book, which I'm going to pop the cover up here so y'all can see it, you'll recognize it. It made its waves through the last, like, probably 1.5 to 2 years. This, I think, is the book I'm the least excited for, mostly because of the timing. I've heard it uses 9/11 as a plot device, which, not great. Not great. But we'll see. I'll give it a chance. Maybe it'll be good. But basically, it's about... It says, our narrator should be happy, shouldn't she? She's young, thin, pretty, a recent Columbia graduate, works an easy job at a hip art gallery, lives in an apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, paid for like the rest of her needs by her inheritance. But there's a dark and vacuous hole in her heart, and it isn't just the loss of her parents or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her or her sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend Riva. It's the year 2000 in a city aglitter with wealth and possibility. What could be so terribly wrong? This sounds like Poor Rich White Girl to me. Like, that's not the kind of story I normally care about. But I do love stories set in New York. So we'll see. Maybe the city will be the, you know, character we all need. And the last book that Instagram picked for me was The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which somehow I've never read. You would have thought that in some of my high school English classes, this would have been one of those, like, you're forced to read situations. But I've never read any Sylvia Plath. I've always wanted to. This book in particular has been on my TBR for quite some time, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But The Bell Jar Chronicles the crack up of Esther Greenwood. Brilliant, beautiful, enormously talented and successful, but slowly going under, maybe for the last time. So Sylvia Plath masterfully draws the reader into Esther's breakdown with such intensity that Esther's insanity becomes completely real and even rational, as probable and accessible an experience as going to the movies. Such deep penetration into the dark and harrowing corners of the psyche is an extraordinary accomplishment and has made The Bell Jar a haunting American classic. That sounds like my kind of fucking around. That sounds like my kind of carrying on. I'm here for all of that. I love watching a character dismantle and then maybe pick themselves back up together and put themselves back together. Maybe not. Maybe it's just all chaos and we're just left to stare at the wall after the book is over. That is my kind of shit. Here for it. Here for it. This one has the possibility of being my favorite. It's a tie between that and The Idiot because both of those are very much my shit. So, let's go see if my library has these books and get to reading. Welcome to my messy kitchen. I just got back from the library. They didn't have any of the books. They don't even own a physical copy of The Bell Jar, so that's fun. I might hit up half-price books either later today or tomorrow to do a search of that because I have a feeling I'm probably going to want to annotate and keep that. I did put holds in for the other two books, The Idiot and My Year of Rest and Relaxation. All that to say, one of my other holds that came in prior to this video is another book that I think, I don't think it would fit into that list of like sad girl, hot girl, whatever, but it's definitely a TikTok favorite, and that's The Love Hypothesis. I put this hold in like 6 weeks ago because my book club met for, I think in the end of February, beginning of March to talk about it. And I didn't end up getting to go because of work, and it worked out because I hadn't read the book yet. But I didn't want to buy it because this just doesn't seem like something I'm going to enjoy. Number one, it's Reylo fiction, fan fiction. No. That's like one of the worst ships in the Star Wars universe. Adam Driver's not that great. Sue me. I don't care. But I want to see what all the hype was about. So I picked it from the library. It's too long. It is... Ew, there's going to be a sequel? Okay. It's 350 pages, but maybe it's just the way this paperback is. It feels like it's like a 450 page book, but fortunately it's not. So I'm going to add that to this vlog. We'll read that together and I'll share my feelings. In the meantime, in between time, I'm going to clean my fucking apartment. It's disgusting. It is a den of depression right now, and there's dust everywhere. Dishes need to be put away. Dishes need to be taken out of the dishwasher. I need to do laundry. Just, you know, the life of an adult. So enjoy this time lapse while I do that.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
But, got a small haul from Half Price Books. Let me show you what I got. I was fortunate enough to find on the wrong shelf The Bell Jar. Literally the moment I asked someone where it was, we were talking about whether or not they had like a section for classics or if it's, you know, mixed in. And they were like, oh, yeah, like I'll show you where it is. And I was like, well, I already looked in fiction. And literally I went to go turn my head to go like point in the direction that I had just been in. And literally in the middle of the W's, it was sitting there. Fate. Glad I found it. I also got, this is not for this vlog, obviously, because it's a horror, but Nosferatu by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. He has his dad's penchant for being long-winded, apparently, because this book is like 800 pages. No, I'm wrong. I think it's like 6 something. It is almost 700 pages long. Yeah. I think it's like a Christmas horror. Gabby from Gabby Reads and Olivia from Olivia Reads Latte are doing another ween. I think it's a spring-a-ween next month. And I'm just slowly gathering my TBR of things to read. And actually, Olivia just read that in a vlog. And she's a little baby about horror in the same way I am. So I'm like, if she can read it, I can read it. I think I'm also going to add Tender is the Flesh into that. Oh, it just started raining. Let me show y'all. It's getting heavy up in here. I think I'm going to try Tender is the Flesh as well, because I tried on my Kindle and I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. But when we're all supposed to be having a good spoopy horror time, maybe I'll be in the mood. And I also just got my notification from my library that my hold for my my year of rest and relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh is in. So if it's not pouring too bad, I might go get that. Or I might wait, because I am fortunate enough that the library is in walking distance of my apartment. So I could wait for a break in the rain, go run over, pick it up, and then run back. And I might do that because I'm not going to start it today anyway. And I have till Friday to pick it up, but I want to get started on it sooner. So yeah, that's the update. So I guess technically 2 out of the 3 books acquired. I'm still waiting on my hold for The Idiot by Etif. Is it Etif or Elif? I think it's Elif Batuman, which that one I think is the one I'm most excited about, but you know, we'll see. So when I get back, Alabama's already playing. I've been watching on my phone while I sit in this line waiting for food. So I'm gonna watch that softball game, and then I will probably pick up Love Hypothesis after, because Olivia is doing reading sprints, I think in about an hour. So it'll be great timing. It'll give me some time to dive into Love Hypothesis, and I will probably update you at that time.
Remember how I said I was going to update you during reading sprints? Well, I came into them like 40 minutes late, and I tried reading a chapter of The Love Hypothesis. I got through the chapter, and I was kind of annoyed at the writing, so I put it down, and I went back to an audiobook I was reading, and it has nothing to do with this vlog. And then the sprints are over. So, I'm making some dinner now, heating up some mashed potatoes in the microwave, reheating some chicken thighs, and to figure out something for a veggie. You don't care about that. I think I might try the bell jar next, because I have that. I never did get up and go to the library. It just kept raining, and then by the time it stopped, it was like 10 minutes till they closed. And I just wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it over there in time, so I'll go pick up my year of rest and relaxation tomorrow off the hold shelf. So hopefully I'll have a reading update for you soon, and hopefully I can get into these books. I've been kind of nervous about Frankie, even though we're back from the vet and she's fine now. Like, she's still limping a little bit and still trying to limit her movement. And I just feel like every time I settle down to read, if she's not in my lap, like, I just have to keep an eye on her. So hopefully I'll get some reading done.
Later.
Hello, happy Saturday. It's been like a week, I think, since I filmed my last clip. Last week was kind of nuts, honestly, and I just didn't have the energy to read or to update you. And honestly, I haven't gotten much further. So I haven't gotten very far. I'm 60 pages into My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. This is a book I thought I wouldn't like the most, and honestly that might still be true, but it's the one that's kept my attention and getting me into the story so far, so we're just going to keep going with that. I was able to get the audiobook through Libby as well, so
I'm actually going to upload some of these clips from before into my video editing software, so I don't have to do massive amounts of editing at the end. And so maybe that'll make this video appear on the internet at some point. But so far, you know, our main character, who I don't even know if she has a name, if I'm being honest. I don't think she's said her name. No, there's no name. It's just, you know, a third person point of view, or well, first person for her, and then everyone else just kind of refers to her as like she, and you know, whatever they're talking to her. They don't ever say her name. She's just quit her job to sleep for the year, and I don't think this is a spoiler because I'm pretty sure it's in the synopsis, but it's also in the first couple pages. Like, both her parents have died. I don't want to say that she's like super rich, but I feel like she does have an inheritance because she's like able to put all her bills on auto pay after quitting her like $22,000 a year job, which granted it was like I think 2000 is when this is set in, so like obviously that went a little further, but it's still under the poverty line. So she has to have money from somewhere, so I think she has an inheritance. And you would think that her quitting had more to do with like her parents dying, and maybe it does, you know, I'm only 60 pages in, but her attitude about it is very like, all I want to do is sleep, this is all I'm good at, this is, her mom did this when she was young, like part of the first 60 pages, her mom like had her late to school all the time. She missed like 30 days of school in a year, and there's only, you know, 180 school days. Because her mom would just sleep all the time, and she slept in bed with her mom, and they would just wake up whenever. So I don't know if she just thinks this is a life goal, and I don't know. But we'll see. So far, it's fine. The tone is a little whiny, but it's not terrible. And honestly, as a 30-year-old who sometimes wishes that she could take off a month and sleep and not have any responsibilities, I get it. I get it. So I'm less annoyed than I thought I was going to be. My hope is that after this, I can dive into either The Bell Jar or The Idiot, which I did get from my library via audio. I'm still waiting on the hold for the physical copy. I just feel like it's going to hit better if I have the physical copy, so I'm trying to keep that to the end in case my hold comes in. So I'll probably go to The Bell Jar next, which I don't know if I was able to get an audio copy. I tried to get audio copies of each of them because it's just not realistic for me to spend my entire weekend on the couch. Like, I would like to, but it's just not realistic. I did not get a copy of The Bell Jar. I think it's on my hold shelf. Let's see. But I feel like everyone like had either long holds for it or just didn't have it. I don't know what it is about this book, like the fact that like it just doesn't seem to be around. And I don't feel like this is like an offbeat classic. Like, people know what The Bell Jar is. Yeah, it's a 5-week hold at one of the libraries I have a card for. So like realistically, I'm just not gonna get an audio copy of that, and that's okay. But I was trying to get audio copies so that, you know, when I'm out running errands or cleaning or doing whatever, like I could listen and continue to go. So 2 out of 3 is not bad though. So hopefully I'll have an update here for you soon when I get hopefully another 60 to 100 pages into this, if not further. And I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so update on my year of rest and relaxation. I've been listening to the audio off and on, picking it up here and there, and honestly, I hate it. I hate it a lot. I'm 136 pages in, which is, I think, the literal halfway mark, if not, like, pretty close, and I hate this character. She's awful. And I don't mind unlikable narrators. Like, I read them all the time. This just feels lazy. She's a bitch to her best friend, like a bitch. Like, her best friend's mom is like in hospice, and she's annoyed when her friend is trying to like talk to her about it. And of course her friend is thinking like, okay, well, you've lost both your parents, you know what it's like. And she just can't even bother to have a modicum of compassion for her. And it's like, and if you can't, why not just be an adult and tell her like you don't care, or that you don't want to talk about it, or whatever, and just move on. Like, I don't understand. I just feel like I'm wasting my time with this. Like, she's just gonna continue to bitch and moan, so I think I'm gonna DNF it. I just can't bring myself to care. Yeah, it's just so, I don't know. Maybe it's because I just got finished watching the Netflix adaptation of Dopesick. Like, to watch someone completely drug themselves and then be okay with the fact that they randomly awaken places that like they didn't intend to go, have no idea how they got there, and all this other like honestly reckless behavior that she's like, well, I'm not bleeding and I still have my clothes on and I have my phone and my credit card, so like nothing else matters. And I'm like, other things do matter. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So yeah, I'm done reading about this privileged white woman. I can't bring myself to care anymore. So I think I'm gonna move on to the audiobook of The Idiot. Hopefully that's like throwing it completely in the opposite direction. So when I get into that a little bit, I will update you with some more info. So until then. Good morning. I'm coming to you on Tuesday looking and feeling like shit, sounding like it, but we're getting through. And surprisingly, what is getting me through? None other than the love hypothesis. Didn't see that coming. Hated the writing physically. Couldn't stand it. Was gonna give up. And then my hold came in for the audiobook from my library. And I've been flying through it. I'm halfway through right now. And I am rooting for these two? What? Other than the very inaccurate descriptions of this man's height. Like, there's just no, like, this cover is physically impossible if you go based off of their descriptions of, like, how much she has to, like, basically climb him to reach his head. Like, no. Those are very inaccurate. Suspend your disbelief on this man's height. The rest of it, though, is great so far. I'm sure we have a big conflict coming because what's a romance without some shitty conflict? So hopefully it'll be good conflict, though. I just read a romance that did a conflict very well. You know, that last third conflict. And it's been a long time since it's happened. So I'm hoping this will do the same. And I have to start work here in a little bit because I took some time off this morning to get myself to sit up, stand up, function. So I'm going to go do that. And then hopefully I'll have an update for you on my lunch break on how I feel about this. Hello. I finished. It was good. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I just posted my review on Goodreads, and basically just my general complaints about this book are this man's completely inaccurate height descriptions that just continue to happen. The overuse of the nicknames, like she calls him an ass like 30 times in the first like chapter. It's quite annoying. And he calls her smart ass all the time, but like half the time it doesn't make any sense. And so I think you're supposed to assume it's a nickname, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't fit. The audio definitely helped with that from like a tone perspective. It made it a little bit better. But generally speaking, I mean, it was fine. Once you get past like the 30 to 40% mark, it actually becomes like truly enjoyable. There's definitely a wonderful good for her moment towards the end, and I always love when those happen. So those was kind of redeeming. But yeah, not as bad as I thought. So solid 3.5. Hello, and welcome to what I hope is the last day of this reading vlog. It's been like a 2-week ordeal. I thought it would take all month actually, so I'm glad it hasn't. I'm gonna start and hopefully finish The Bell Jar today. Technically I started a little earlier in the reading vlog, but I only read like 15 pages and I just was struggling to get into it at that time.
And now I have the audiobook from my library. I put in a request for them to purchase it, and they did. So that's awesome. So I'm gonna head out here. I'm gonna go grab a snack, head to the gym, and probably walk a little while. We're getting close to good hiking weather here in Texas, and it's been so long since I've done a hike at some of our nature ridges around here, and I need to be like mentally and physically prepared for that. So incline walking has been my thing recently. We're gonna do some of that, and I'm gonna listen to the audio while I do that. So I'll have an update here for you later this afternoon. Hello, I finished the bell jar. I don't know why I sound so excited. I didn't have the best time, but I finished it. It's something I've wanted to read for a long time, and I'm just so glad that I'm done. And it also means I'm done with this reading vlog. I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I think it's one of those books that just helps you appreciate what it did in the scope of literature in its time and to get us where we are today. This follows Esther Greenwood, who's a young woman in, I want to say, the late 50s, is the general time frame. This book was released for the first time in 1963, so I think it's meant to be in the 50s, just kind of based on some of the language and things that are used. And it's, you know, you're just plopped into Esther's life and just kind of following her along and experiencing things she's experiencing. And you can definitely tell she's a little bit of an odd duck. She doesn't really follow a lot of the cultural norms for what's expected of women in that time, which I appreciated. I will say I have not seen enough content warnings about this book. Content warnings for self-harm, suicidal ideation, suicide in general, because someone does pass away via that method. It's not written on the page like in extreme detail, but it's there. And she does spend some time in a mental health ward. Oh, and also content warning for just some therapy types we don't really use anymore. I don't know, is electric shock therapy still used? Like, I'd have to look that up, but there are some moments that can be very triggering for some folks in here, and just some content I don't know that everyone's be able to handle. But for as short of a book as it was, it had a lot in here. And although I didn't particularly enjoy it, I can definitely see how it paved the way for us to, you know, find the lives of women important and the things that they experience important. And I know other books did that as well, but I can just imagine in the time frame that happened, especially since this book was released in 1963. So you have to think time-wise, that was, you know, right before we had big social movements, not only for women because Roe v. Wade was, you know, 10 years later, but also even with, you know, like Martin Luther King and in that time of like the mid to late 60s, women got a lot of comeuppance from, you know, Black people and people of color gaining, you know, some equality. So, you know, equal rights movement for women, or helped women too, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So for this to come out in that time, I can see why this is considered a modern classic. It's definitely, I think, one of those books that would be great for like an English class to discuss. Maybe not like high schoolers, but I could see like a freshman or sophomore English class in college just talking about this. I could especially see it in like maybe a community college where you're trying to figure out like, you know, just because you get kids from, this is such a random topic, but it just made me think of it. You get kids from all sorts of areas. You don't really know what their scope of reading has been like before because all districts are different. So I think this would be a really great option for a group like that. But yeah, if you haven't read it and you've been interested, I mean, I won't say it definitely didn't waste my time. Like, I had a good time reading it. It was just one of those things where I was like, we just have better journeys, I guess, and examples now of, you know, self-exploration from a, you know, young female's perspective. I didn't even young female because she's not like a child, but a young woman's perspective. But yeah, with that, I guess I'll sign off the vlog. I appreciate y'all coming along on this ride with me. Does this mean we can trust future Instagram filters to pick our TBR? I think the answer is no. And since I know that since I know that filter originated from BookTok, this makes me question what y'all are letting BookTok recommend you, honestly. I won't close it off completely as an option, but I can just tell that so far it's not for me. I'm not trying to get like you, my boy, you know? It's just, we're not there. We're not there yet. So with that, I'll say have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or, you know, wherever you are in the world, and thanks for watching.